In the over 40 years since the original Star Wars film first released in theatres, it has expanded into a crazy, expansive universe that no one, apart from George Lucas himself, could have possibly imagined at that time. Obviously, there's a bunch of movies, there's also a bunch of TV series. If you think of Star Wars TV series, you might have in your mind The Mandalorian, which recently came out, or the currently airing Star Wars The Clone Wars. And most of these shows, other than The Mandalorian, are animated. But did you know there's actually another Star Wars animated series airing at the moment other than The Clone Wars? This series is called Star Wars Galaxy of Adventures, and it's a 1 minute per episode, roughly, give or take a second or two, depending on the plot of that episode. So 1 minute roughly recreation of the existing Star Wars films in an animated style. A lot of people are comparing it to Japanese animation, and even a lot of fans are creating like anime opening inspired Star Wars videos, and those are really really cool. That's actually the best thing to come out of the series is not the series itself, but the edits that people are making, because I really enjoy them. I'm an anime fan myself, Star Wars fan, so those two things together is really cool. As I said, the series is a recreation of the moments from the original films, and Series 1 focused mainly on the original trilogy, but it did have moments inspired by the prequels, or even a few solo references, even Rogue One, and yeah. Then Season 2 has just come out, it's airing at the moment. These series are going direct to YouTube, so maybe airing is the wrong word for it. But yeah, Series 2 is out, and it's based on the sequel trilogy. So that's Kylo Ren, Rey, Finn, Poe Dameron, etc. And it's not actually, this time around, it's not just recreating moments from the films. It is mostly, but there are original little adventures included in there. So now to the question that is the premise of this video, I guess, is who is this series for? And they are claiming that it is a kids series. It's one of the taglines that they're releasing with all the media, the press, is that there's a Star Wars for every generation. So saying, the adults and whatever, they watch the films, and then they can show their kids this show so they can experience the universe from a more kid-friendly perspective with, nice cartoon graphics. Even the tie-in toy line, which is also, exactly the same name. It says Galaxy Adventures on it. It's even done in the same sort of cartoony anime style as the main series. Although that is debatable because there is always merchandise of every Star Wars, because that is what this series was pretty much invented for. It's why George Lucas, he took a cut. He didn't actually earn that much money on directing a film, but he decided to take rights for the merchandising, so he made a fuckload of money. So while even the more adult Star Wars content like Rogue One or even The Mandalorian does have its own merchandising, there is a clear difference with this, is that it's directly from it, it has the series name on it, it's clearly targeting kids, it's in the kids section in shops, it's got 4+ written on it, it's got all these cartoony characters, and it is a relatively cheap type toy. You can't imagine too many collectors going out and getting these, other than if they want to own every Star Wars thing ever. It is clearly targeted at kids. Even on YouTube, it is they weren't on the actual Star Wars channel, they're on a different channel called Star Wars Kids. YouTube even has its own separate app called YouTube Kids, which are just videos for kids, and this series is on there. That is maybe a discussion for another day, but YouTube Kids I have mixed feelings about, because anyone can put something on YouTube and say this is for kids, but with a big company like Disney, that means definitely they are saying 100% this series is for kids. With the way these episodes are paced, the way they're structured, just the way they play out, I can't really imagine people caring all too much about this series if they don't already have a large, strong investment in the actual series itself. Because you have, as I said, 1 minute per episode to tell the story, and That's a very, very short runtime to tell a genuine story. So it's just little shots, and they aren't shot for shot recreations of what happens in the films, but the events are the same. It even uses the same audio clips as the actual films.
All remaining systems will bow to the First Order! All remaining systems will bow to the First Order!
And I can't imagine anyone getting anything out of this if they aren't already invested in the series. So while they're saying it's for kids, it's more, if kids are enjoying it, it probably is kids that already like the main series. And obviously there's people like me, or these people making anime openings in Star Wars. It's just for people who have seen Star Wars and want to see it in a cool new way. So whilst they are claiming the series is for kids, in all the press releases, also in the, the show itself, it's on Star Wars Kids on the YouTube Kids app. One of the more recent episodes has got a few people questioning this, and in this episode, it follows Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren slaughtering a bunch of people. And sure, that does make canonical sense. Kylo Ren is a villain, and sometimes villains kill people. But for a kids show, and people are questioning it, I don't fully agree with this, because there is an almost identical, I guess, sister episode to this, which is in the first series. There was a recreation of the ending of Rogue One, where Darth Vader goes and cuts down a bunch of people. And sure, you can question both, but there is examples of this happening before, so it's not as much a surprise. But the weirder thing about this is Kylo Ren has literally just had his redemption arc in The Rise of Skywalker. They're saying he's a good guy. He's Ben Solo now. They keep calling him Ben Solo, rather than his villain name. He spent these last two movies a lot of the runtime with his helmet off to humanize him, and they've put all this effort into humanizing this character and making him into a good guy, and then releasing a short on YouTube of him murdering innocent people. It does seem like weird timing. Overall, I don't really care too much. It is a villain, so he does kill people, and there's no blood or anything. So I do think people are overreacting, but it is a weird note that they humanise his character and immediately show him murdering people. That is a little bit odd. But overall, let's get back to the show. Let's go back to the main series. Overall, it's not amazing. It's fine. It's kind of cool to see the recreations of these iconic moments in an anime style. As I said, the anime openings that people make, they're really cool. I might even make one of those myself one day, because I like them. I like making that sort of video. Like, I've done the end of year film videos. Like, I like editing stuff down to a nice funky beat or whatever. So what's the purpose of the series? I'm not too sure, because they're saying it's for kids to experience Star Wars for the first time, but anyone who's experiencing Star Wars for the first time will not feel anything for this, because it doesn't develop the characters in any interesting ways, given that every episode is a minute roughly, usually less than a minute. It is actually really similar to another series, which is the Star Wars Forces of Destiny, in that it was a dull series that they released of a bunch of female characters from the Star Wars universe, and then they had a 2 to 3 minute cartoon series that they released alongside that, and that one was a bit different in that they were original stories that fit within the Star Wars universe rather than recreations. And sure, it's dolls rather than kids' figures, but it is a similar concept. Out of the two series, I certainly think Galaxy Adventures does it a lot better than Force of Destiny, simply because of the episodes. You can't really tell too much of a story in a 2 minute or 1 minute. So doing these recreations of scenes we already know and already have an emotional attachment to makes you feel a bit more than just Princess Leia going on some random quest or Sabine doing whatever. And even the female target of the Forces of Destiny series is also where the series sort of collapses, in that it's trying to showcase how good this series is for female representation, but in doing so shows just how bad it really is. Because you think of female characters, you go, okay, yeah, Princess Leia, she's cool. Okay. Well, who else? Well, you've got Sabine and Ahsoka from the cartoons, okay? And you've got Jyn Erso. What little girl wants to play with Jyn Erso from Rogue One? A character who just frowns for the whole movie and fucking dies. None of these characters have really met each other. They don't all hang out with each other, because with like doll series, they're often friendship is like a theme. You've got for the most famous dolls, you've got like Barbie and Ken. So they're famously boyfriend and girlfriend. You can put them together. Something like Monster High, they're all part of the same high school or something. I don't know. What's Monster High?
Being fashionable and having friends.
Yeah, having friends. They're all together, right?
Yeah.
You can play with them together. But Jyn Erso, she just sort of died and whatever. She never met Sabine. She never met Ahsoka. So why release them together? And they did actually somewhat learn from this in Series 2 of Forces of Destiny, and that they didn't just focus it on the girls, because I guess it's also a bit of sexism saying like, girls will only buy girl toys. So, no. Maybe there's a bit of bias, like Barbie being the most famous, but yeah, these series do have like their Ken, and for example, I just mentioned Monster High, there are a lot of male characters in that.
Old.
What?
Monster High's dead.
I don't care.
Not famous anymore.
What's famous now?
LOL surprise.
Yeah, but I don't care. I'm here to talk about Star Wars and why it sucks, even though I love it. You can't play with those characters together because they have no relation to each other. And then they learned from this in the Series 2, where they released sort of packs. They released a Rey and Kylo Ren pack, and those are characters that do have a connection. They literally have a Force connection. They're always talking to each other through the Force. In Rise of Skywalker, it's revealed they have a Force dyad or some nonsense like that. I don't know. Bunch of nonsense, that movie. So overall, Galaxy of Adventures is a slightly better series than Force of Destiny, in my opinion. And I guess that is because I am closer to the target audience of that. They are both for kids, but one is a more feminine series, one is a more masculine series. One is about girls, the other is about killing people, slicing people down with lightsabers. Force of Destiny is just lame. I don't know. I can't imagine. If you go in the doll section in the shop, right, as a girl, look at all these pretty characters, You see your Barbie, oh, she's got a nice dress and that. You see LOL Surprise Dolls, you're like, oh, I want to make an unboxing. And you look at Jyn Erso and you're like, that bitch died in 2016. I don't want that. She's boring. So yeah, overall, that is Galaxy Adventures. It started in 2018, and now it's still going. Just like this video.